All right, good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you guys out there. Excuse me. Today we're going to look at solving equations when there's square roots involved. So we're going to start off pretty simple. So on our first equation here, we have x squared equals 36. So when we solve this one, we got to get rid of that squared. The opposite of square is just square root. So when I do that, I know the square root of 36 is 6. But here's a problem. 6 times 6 is 36. But I also know that negative 6 times negative 6 gives me 36. So I'm actually going to say there are two answers here. Plus or minus 6. Plus or minus 6. So I'll do the same thing over here. Square root on both sides. So I get x. Square root of 144 is 12, but I got to remember that plus or minus. Now this will be really weird because this year in algebra we are stressing that plus or minus. Next year in geometry, I'm going to tell you to forget about the negative. And the reason we can forget about the negative in geometry is, when's the last time you ever traveled negative 12 miles or negative 6 feet? In geometry, a negative doesn't make sense. In algebra, it does, though, because it tells me, hey, where did I cross the x-axis? Well, I crossed it at 6 and I crossed it at negative 6. Both algebraic solutions. Ooh, next one. Notice here it's got 5x squared equals 20. I have to get rid of that 5 first. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So I'm left with x squared equals 4. Now I can take the square root, and I get x equals that plus or minus 2. Square root of 4 is that plus or minus 2. Same thing on the next one. I'm going to just divide by 4. Divide by 4. I get x squared equals 25. Take the square root. I get plus or minus 5. Ooh. So I got negative 3x squared equals negative 75. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. X squared equals 25. Take the square root. That's plus or minus 5. Continue working. This next one, I'm going to divide by negative 4. Negative 4. I get x squared equals negative 25. I see an issue. We know the square root of 25 is 5. We see this on this one over to the left. But negative 25, so I have to think, what number times itself gives me a negative 25? Well, positive 5 times positive 5 is 25. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. This one actually doesn't have an answer. This one is a can't do or no solution. Okay, we don't have a positive number times a positive number that'll give me negative 25. I also don't have a negative number times a negative number that'll give me negative 25. Oh man, they're adding more steps. We're just going to continue to work through this very slowly. First thing I have to do here is I just got to subtract 9. Ooh, I might have made this one a little tricky on myself. 84 minus 9 is 75. And we'll just go with it. I'll take the square root. I know I'm going to get a plus or minus 8.66. Okay. Going to work out the next one. Heck, I'll even change color. Yeah, we'll go blue. I'm going to add 16. That's a bad negative. Negative 4x squared. Negative 84 plus 16 It's negative 68. Divide by negative 4. Oh man, I'm really losing it today. I came up with some bad, nasty problems. I was hoping to have them all work out perfect, but that's okay. We're okay. Take the square root. I'm going to have to use my calculator again. 4.12. Okay. I was hoping they would work out nice, but they didn't. That's all right. Here, subtract 15. 43 minus 15 is 28. Divide by 7. X squared equals 4. Take the square root. Plus or minus 2. Add 21. Gives me negative 108. Divide by negative 3. Gives me 36. Take the square root. Plus or minus 6. Now one thing I should mention here, I've been writing this as plus or minus 6 because that's acceptable. That's what we do. But if you did write your answer as x equals 6, x equals negative 6, that's totally legit too. Okay? I'm going to give you one more quick one that I just happened to think about that I haven't touched. And this is about as simple as life can be. Let's just say I had, 1.44 x squared equals 0. Well, I'm going to divide by that 1.44. And then I'm going to get x squared equals 0, square root, plus or minus 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Here, remember 0 doesn't have a plus or minus. So if my solution is 0, I just call x equals 0. And that's my answer. Okay. All right, you guys will have a Google form homework on this. There is, I think, 9 questions, 16 points. Nothing terrible. Hope you guys are doing all right. Miss you all. We'll talk.